Alright, so I'm finishing up the last of the 10 pistons. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but filing piston rings is probably my least favorite job on the engine. I don't mind assembling, although tedious, it's still better than filing. Filing just sucks. So that's the oil ring there. I'm just twisting the oil rings on. I've never broken an oil ring. They go on just like that. I kind of wiggle it around, make sure everything spins freely there. Get a little squish test. And I think my openings are a little too close together. Let's push them apart just a hair. There we go. I put my oil rings here. The butt is over here, which will be the same spot where I put my second gap. Alright, so here's the top, here's the marking, here's the bevel, so this is your second ring. And on this one, I'll just put on. Oh crap, look at that. That thing just broke on me. I can't believe that. That sucks. Okay guys, you saw that. That was a manufacturing defect. I mean, I did not put enough torque on this thing to break it like it should have. If I were using the piston ring expanding pliers, this would have broken anyway. So, luckily, I've got an old piston ring. So this is only this is the stock bore. We didn't bore it out 5 thousandths or anything like that. So, because it's a stock bore, I can just reuse one of these old rings. Not ideal, but I'm not going to order another set of rings just for this. Rings looks pretty good. There's just some carbon buildup on the inside I need to scrape off, and then I can install it. Okay, so I got all the carbon off of this used ring, and we're going to install it now. I can't believe that other one broke. Very last piston, can you believe it? Very last piston, yeah. And finally the top ring. I'm going to put 180 degrees away from that second ring. Just like that. This guy's ready to install. Alright, so a little WD-40 for lube. I'm going to drop it in my Summit ring compressor here. Good. And now let's double check the bearings. Alright. Upper looks good. Lower looks good. No trash anywhere. We'll shot of Mobile 1. Alright, time to install. Last piston. I've already wiped this out once, but some of it's in there. That's not so bad though. Okay, let's go ahead and install. Alright, so make sure your chamfer lines up with the radius on your crankshaft. finger on the bolt. It's in there. Give it a quarter turn. Alright, let's give this another shot in my second favorite lube. And the cap. Yeah, always make sure, keep your eyes on these, your bearings surfaces. Make sure you always put the right one in the right spot. Double check, always double check. When you're doing 10 of these things, it gets really tedious. It's easy to make a mistake. Make sure your numbers line up. Usually the machine shops will only stamp one side of your rod. All those little things. All those little hints that things are together properly. Good. Alright. Upside down time. Alright, let's torque some of these fasteners. And again, I'm going to be using my feeler gauge just to make sure I don't put any kind of crazy load on these things. They're not torqued that tight, 45 foot-pounds. Let's just see how much clearance I have here. Tighter than 15. I like to see it closer to 15, but I'm not going to mess with sanding on these things. Here's a 12. Let's see how that fits. 12 it is. Okay, just barely goes into place. Alright, 45. So here, I can torque this one, and this one over here. But I gotta spin this over, ideally, in an ideal world, before you torque the other rod. I can hear that one click. Sorry about that, I had to get an extension. Alright, 45. 45. Okay, so those two are set. Spin this over a little bit. Again. These are actually tighter than 12. Drop down to 11. A little snug at 11. There we go. 10 thousandths. And on my piston rings, I hate grinding those things. My top ring I set at 18 thousandths. Always hard to hit that number though. I had a few come in around 19 or 20, which is okay, but minimum 18. On my second ring, I went for 20 thousandths. And again, most of them came right at 20, but a couple got away from me around 22, 23, a little more than I wanted them to be at. You know, these are really kind of tight. That bothers me. Nine thousandths. That's tighter than 9. That's okay with 12, but now we're getting tight. 9, 8. That 8 was almost, might be closer to 7. That is tight. I am going to have to loosen that up, I think. That scares me. Too tight. Here's my 7. Crap. 6 goes. Too easy. So, yeah, it's 7. 7 thousandths. Wow. What does the book call for? Okay. Alright, so the book calls for a minimum clearance of 10 thousandths, and I'm getting 7 right here, which ain't gonna fly. I like to see it somewhere around the 13, 14, 15 thousandths range. So we're gonna pull out a couple of these pistons, and we're going to work our rods a little bit, try to increase that clearance just a hair. Alright, so I've measured the rod side clearance on each of these areas here. I've got 11 areas of measurement. Number 1 and 2, 11 thousandths of an inch, which is just barely above what the factory recommends, 10 thousandths. 12, here's a problem one here, 7 right here in the middle. That, I don't know. We got to fix that. The number was it 8, sorry, 7, 8. We measured 11 thousandths, so that's okay. And you can see when I wiggle it, that's still just enough looseness. Then over here on the last one, number 9, 10, 9 thousandths. So yeah, we're going to try to loosen up a couple of these a little bit, see how we do. And depending on how we do, we may adjust the other ones as well. Okay, so we need to measure the width right now. I'm at 9, 1, let's see, 6, 9, 1, 6, 5. So 6, 5, 7, no, take it back, 6. 6, 6, 5, 6, 6, 5. Okay, so my goal is to take 3 thousandths off this one and 3 thousandths off the other one, which is about 1.5 thousandths off each side. If you take it all off on one side, you're more likely to put a taper in there. So I work both sides as evenly as I can. So let's flat surface and pull out a little 220 grit. This is from my Body Shop Supplies, obviously. We're just going to work it a little bit here. Move it around a little bit. 1.5 thousandths per side. 3 thousandths total. That is our goal. So I'm gonna get that 0.915 or 916. That was the high. 916 about 913. There we go, 913. There we go. That's what we need. It's like a 3.5 there, but that's not bad. I can live with that. 3.5. 3.5. 3. All right. So let's work on the other one. Same thing. Okay. So I just finished taking out number, what was it, 5 and 6, and sanding the rod sides a little bit. I was measuring them with my micrometer, and I think I took about 3 thousandths off each rod. So hopefully when I measure this now, that 7 thousandths will jump to about 13. I'm just going to snug these a little bit. Just snug, not short. I can hear some movement now. Alright, well, let's see, let's start with a 10. Here's the 10. Drops right in. 11, here's a 12. Drops in. 13, here's a 14. 14 is tight. Okay, so I went from 7 to 14 on my rod end clearance. So that is good. Unfortunately though, I should probably do that to this 9 and 11 and this other 11, maybe even the 12. I mean, 14 to 15 is pretty close to what we want for a road race engine. So, pistons coming back out. Alright, so I just put this one here back together. You can hear that movement. We had 9 thousandths before. Here's my 14 gauge, my 14 thousandths. Oh, it's tight. Not quite. Well, maybe 14. Yeah, I'll call that 14. So now we're at 14 over here as well. So 1, 4. Alright. Well, we're getting it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and loosen up these other ones as well. Try to get them sloshing a little bit more oil around. Remember, it's oil flow, not oil pressure, that keeps things moving. So, yeah, we'll just keep at it. Okay, so all the clearances have been adjusted now. Remember before we got down to 7 thousandths clearance here? Well, let's redo these again. So I'm going to start in the back. And we went from 11 thousandths rod clearance to 14. 14 is a nice number. So here's my 14 gauge. Okay, and we'll put this here. And I can do this one. And I can do this one here. Alright, now we'll pull on this side. Good. That one's done. This next one here was 12 thousandths, and I opened it up to about 17. Dodge says we can go as high as 18 from the factory. So I'm not worried about 17. It's a little looser than I wanted, but that's fine. Here's my 17. Actually, 17's a little bit... Oh, there it goes. It's tight, 17. Might be 16 and a half. Good. Make sure I'm still good. All right. Same thing over here. All right. Spin. Okay. This was the tightest of the bunch. This was 7, and I opened it up to 14. That 7 would have got me in trouble out there on the track. Good. And down here. Oh, come on. There we go. Good. Alright, almost done here. We're at 15 now. That was what, 12? 12 of the 15. So I just loosened that one up just a little bit, not too much. Alright, that was fun. And this last one is at 16 now. And before it was 11, I believe. Done. Alright, so I'm buttoning this thing up again for now. The short block is pretty much complete. I still need to install the roller lifters and the lifter hold down tabs. That's nothing special though. Time to start working on the heads. Yippee!